I know there are some people out there who say that Grant the Movie and TV Guy is not as good as the other YouTube reviewers. Well, excuse me. And that was my very poor impression of Steve Martin. Hi, everyone. It's me, Grant the Movie and TV Guy. Welcome to Raise on Popcorn with Grant, everybody. And today we are talking. Oh, thank you. We're going to talk about a movie. Or movies, if you will, of movies and TV. That's what we do here. And that movie is Steve, parentheses, Martin, a documentary in two pieces. Steve Martin, a documentary in two pieces, is directed by Morgan Neville, the great Morgan Neville, who directed 20 Feet from Stardom, The Best of Enemies, Won't You Be My Neighbor, which was my favorite film of 2018, as well as one of my favorites of 2021, Roadrunner, the Anthony Bourdain documentary. So this is his latest effort, and it's two films essentially that come together into a whole. It's a two-parter, and it's now streaming on Apple TV Plus, and I believe in select theaters. Maybe it's also produced by A24. So what is Steve Martin documentary in two pieces about? Well, it's about Steve Martin, the comedian, actor, playwright, icon Steve Martin, and it's split into two distinct halves. The first half, part one, is entitled Then, and it is about 95 minutes. It covers Martin's stand-up career, why he walked away from it, basically his entire career up to when his first major film, The Jerk, premiered. Then we go into part two, which is 98 minutes. So altogether, it's a little over 3 hours. And it goes from there to Steve, and part two is entitled Now. And we go through his life, him now getting married and having a child later in life, his career resurgence, writing, producing, and starring in the terrific Only Murders in the Building, his friendship with Martin Short, and we hear it all from Steve's point of view, as he very frankly and in a very funny manner and in a very moving manner tells us his story. And we see in part one a portrait of a guy who is longing for the love of his father, longing for the love of someone, a significant other. And then in part two, he finds it in his wife and his relationship with his newborn daughter. And we see how those decades of longing did have a happy ending. And we see through this sort of mosaic of Steve Martin. You wouldn't think that a 3-hour, two-part documentary on Steve Martin would necessarily be necessary. What could you say about Steve Martin other than showing the clips? You might be surprised. So yeah, I think this goes without saying, I love this. I thought this was absolutely fantastic. And what I loved about this film, or the two films, if you will, is both parts are distinctive and can be watched as a standalone. But the stuff that they do in part one does matter to part two. Watching them side by side as a double bill is a 3-hour long film. You really do see how the Steve Martin we meet in Then comes into play with the Martin we now come to know in Now. And we see how it all coalesces, and talking about his father, showing excerpts from a play he wrote called Wasp, which was about his childhood, and seeing how his writing sort of showed the sadness that he couldn't say being a man of humor, and showing how he's still a funny guy, and he's still... Anyone who watches Only Murders in the Building, like yours truly, which is, if you haven't seen that show, oh my god, watch it now. It's just one of the best shows ever. But you just see this guy has always been brilliant, and there's always been more to him than just the arrow through the head thing and the magic tricks and the let's get small. There's always been more to him than that. There's a soulfulness and a longing and a human being underneath. And you really look back on it, and the way that they use, he's very frank about the fact that, like, he loved Pennies from Heaven. People didn't agree. He made Mixed Nuts. He was proud of it. and then he also knew it was not going to do well. And there's a really key moment in the film in which there's a clip of him on the red carpet for Mixed Nuts, the 1984 film Mixed Nuts, where he's walking on the red carpet, and some reporter is asking him, "Hey, Steve, I got a question for you." And he's just kind of like, "Yeah, what's up?" And he goes, "Why are you not funny anymore?" And he just kind of walks away, and you kind of feel like that the weight of that moment. But the thing is that he took risks. He did it all. And he allows his famous friends, his comedic friends, Martin Short and Jerry Seinfeld, people like that, to kind of come into the fray and also take the wind out of his sails. And he also takes the wind out of his own sails. He doesn't let it get pompous. There's a really interesting meta element where he acknowledges that most documentaries are trying to basically be almost, speaking of Christspiracy, yeah, I'm gonna die on that hill, seem to be an act almost of self-love affairs. Like it's an act of basically almost of cinematic masturbation, and he avoids it. And I just I love this. I thought this was great. I watched part 1 last night. I watched part 2 today. I could have easily... I had to fight the urge after part 1 ended not to stay up and watch part 2. Because it really... But I loved it. And I thought it was just a wonderful documentary. Morgan Neville is brilliant. I believe his next film is that documentary... the animated documentary done in Lego of Pharrell Williams, I think, is his next film, and I'm looking forward to that. So, yeah, this is, I think it was like Brick by Brick or something like that. This is a great filmmaker. This is a great film, and or films, 2 films, if you will, a really great double feature of Steve Martin. A lot of fun. So, if you're a fan, for instance, my mom would love this movie. Like I told her, you have to watch this, and you have to watch it all, because you really dig this. If you love comedy, if you love Steve Martin, this is an invaluable film. And yeah, I'm gonna give Steve Martin a documentary in 2 pieces. Yeah, you see it, bang, 5 out of 5 stars plus. This was just a really, really, really terrific documentary. It's streaming now, like I said, on Apple TV Plus, and maybe in select theaters. I do not know for sure. It's hard to tell sometimes with streaming movies if they have theatrical runs, because sometimes they don't say they do, and then you find out, oh, but it did play in one theater in New York or something, and you're like, okay, maybe. But anyway, so yeah, that is it. 5 out of 5 stars plus. Let's close the book on it. Trailer trash. None watched on Apple TV Plus. Was there shawarma? No, there was not in either parts. So, yeah, that's it. We'll be back tonight for a review of In the Land of Saints and Sinners, the latest action thriller from Liam Neeson. Also, either late tonight or tomorrow, probably tomorrow, we will have a review of the documentary Sperm World, the Hulu FX documentary Sperm World. Also, Monday we'll have a review of They Shot the Piano Player, and Monday night we will have, on the second channel, our first quarter recap of 2024, the best and worst films released, but ranked from January to March. So that's coming up. And that'll all be next time. And until next time, I'm Grant, the movie and TV guy. I see it all, and I'm happy to share it with you. I love you all. I appreciate you all. Love you all, class dismissed. I love you 3,000. Be kind to one another. If you like this video, give it a like if you want to. Give it a subscribe if you want to. Give it the bell. I don't know what it does, but that's what you're supposed to do, or so I've been told. Leave a comment, even if it's, hey Grant, I like waffles. It really helps out. If you want to find me elsewhere, reviews, lists, and other fun stuff, you can check me out on all my social media. I'm on literally everything, and either Raised on Popcorn with Grant or Raised on Popcorn. Take care of yourself, take care of your mental health. It's incredibly important. And I want to know down below, what did you think of Steve Martin, a documentary in 2 pieces? Did you like the movie? Did you hate the movie? Think my opinion's good? Think I'm full of shit? Comment below, let me know. And until we meet again, we're all Raised on Popcorn. Make mine with extra butter. I'll catch you guys next time. Take care, everyone. See you around. Bye.